Or was it Jenny? No, it was Tammy. Jenny had been last weekend. He waited for the elevator to drop the 21 stories from the top of the hotel to the main floor and exited, then headed to the front desk and signed out. He made sure the bill was paid and that the suite incidentals credit had a maximum approved amount. By the time he made it to the valet, his Mercedes SLK was waiting for him. He tipped the valet a 20 and got in. He figured he would at least swing by his office and check a few things. No reason to be a liar. Cheryl Lynn had thrown his lying in his face for the last 9 months, ever since she had found out about him being at this very hotel with a pair of twins, instead of working late that night with the guys from the advertising agency. That had offended him. He had worked late with the guys from the agency, but they had gone out for dinner. When the sisters looked him over, he knew he had just been put on the interesting list. He noticed their glances from time to time during the meal. He didn't want to be on the interesting list. He wanted to move to the desired list. So, when dinner was over, he told the agency guys he was going to rest for a minute before the trip home. He had been on the hunt, and he had to get his fix in. He needed to feel alive, and there wasn't a better way to make that happen than closing deals. In his world, getting a woman to go to a hotel room with him was closing a deal. Cheryl Lynn had confronted him when he got in a little past 2 a.m. He had tried to play it off as a one-time incident, but the little bitch had him tailed for the next 6 months. She got pictures of him with 3 other conquests. Conquests that she just didn't understand met a need in his ego. Sleeping with them was the ultimate proof that he could conquer. The perfect and unarguable truth that he was desired. The incontrovertible proof being when they lost their damn minds and screamed. The women didn't mean anything to him, and he had told her so, but Cheryl Lynn wouldn't listen. Neither of his children would either. The bitch had obviously lied to them about him and acted as if he was somehow not a good man because he still had it and used it occasionally. He hadn't thought twice when she had confronted him with the pictures and asked, "Am I not enough for you?" He'd just shrugged. "Been there, done that." So she'd left and filed for divorce. That had been 3 months ago. Dallas Love Field, Personal Jets area. Chester Dextrous was waiting for the private jet to finish their taxi. His responsibility was to make sure they had the hookups to refuel and take care of the wastewater and any other supplies or replenishment they might need. He was waiting in front of the private hangar for one of the FBOs, fixed-based operators, to help with the Gulf Stream, when a black, late-model Jeep with heavily tinted windows drove in, followed by a Mercedes Maybach S600. Chester whistled to himself. That last was one sweet ride, and downright sexy. They were heading right for him. This incoming was apparently a pretty high-level person. He wasn't sure who it was, but with that kind of car, Chester was guessing Fortune 500 CEO. He turned his attention back to the Gulfstream as it slowly made its way to him. He could see the pilot and co-pilot in the cockpit. His tablet buzzed, so he looked down and reviewed the instructions. The plan was refueling and departure. That worked for him. He liked the in and outs. Everyone would be focused, and he wouldn't have to wait around for instructions. The plane stopped as coolly as could be, and the door was lowering no more than 30 seconds afterward. He watched as a sharp-looking young man stepped down the ladder and walked around, checking the area before calling back into the plane. King Kong stepped to the door. Chester wanted to stare, but he was able to get his astonishment under control when Sir fucking Large as a Tree came down the steps and scanned the area. This guy had black sunglasses and was wearing a black suit with a white shirt and a blood-red tie. When he finished his review, the first guy went to stand by the steps. The big guy started walking over to the first vehicle, the black Jeep. A professional-looking black man stepped out of the Jeep and closed his door. He waited for Kong, and they shook hands. As Chester watched, the big man nodded and started walking around the Jeep. He pulled out what looked like a metal pencil that turned into a long rod with a mirror on the bottom when he pulled it out. He walked around the Jeep, using the mirror to look underneath. Finished, he took a clipboard from the black gentleman and signed it.